Are your games feeling stale? Do your heroes have a severe lack of cosmetics that look like a car, Nerf guns, or even a K-pop idol? Well, Overwatch has your back with all their weird, wacky, and out-of-the-blue collabs. From Transformers to One Punch Man and Hello Kitty, we're here to discuss it all.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Dysfunctional with DY and Luna. My name is DY,
And my name is Luna.
and we're so excited to talk about collaboration skins in Overwatch today.
We have a long list to get through. It is
Yes.
kind of ungodly, I'm not gonna lie. This has been a relatively new thing for Overwatch because Overwatch was never really known for collabs. They only really ever did one, realistically, which was Lego. Not only having the actual Lego figures and the sets themselves, which everybody and their mother gets like a Lego set, so that's nothing new. But the only real one was the Lego Bastion skin,
Yes.
which was in the original Overwatch before it went free to play, and it has never come back since. And people will genuinely sell their accounts for hundreds of dollars just to have that Bastion skin. The fact that it's never like come back, either in loot boxes or in the shop, it has never come back.
Yeah. Rumors say that Blizzard had a bad end with Lego, and that's why it's never coming
Mm,
back, which is
mm.
sad. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a little bit. And that was the only collab that technical Overwatch 1 ever did.
This was entirely sprung up upon us because we didn't think Overwatch was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we did not think for a second that they were going to do this because they were so, I wouldn't say hesitant, but that's not really something like if Blizzard supposedly, allegedly, had a really bad experience that broke their relationship with Lego, then like, how would that impact them trying to market and go to other companies or other franchises to do the same thing? You know, like
Yeah.
how far would that go? But clearly, whatever happened, it
If those
I'm like,
rumors are true, because those, like
yeah,
I said, those are just rumors, and that probably people just coping as to why it's never coming back.
yeah. I mean, they brought back Pink Mercy, and everyone was claiming for that, even though that was a charity skin, and that's why they didn't bring it back because it was a one-time deal. But they did bring it back. So I guess anything is possible, but at the very least, we're just huffing copium at this point just to see if that Bastion skin's ever gonna come back.
They've
When
completely stopped selling the Lego sets as well anywhere, so
yeah,
the
yeah,
only
so
place you could probably find them is eBay and
yeah,
like
and that's
other
like
pawn websites.
enough about the sadness stuff. As much as everyone mourns the loss of Lego Bastion, we do have other ones, and more specifically, we wanted to discuss about, again, this was only a recent development within the first year, maybe two, I'd say, of these collabs happening. Because when you think of collabs with like different franchises, you probably think of like Fortnite and other games like that.
Yeah.
So Blizzard doing it and putting it in the Overwatch universe was like, well, how are you gonna do some of these skins with these characters if Overwatch is so it has such a specific art style with the way that it uses tech and the way that it's like done like that? People were like, how do we work with that? But clearly
But
they made
they've
it
done an
work.
amazing job at everything. So,
Yeah. So we have a long list to get through. but let's get into it. Our very first one, not the first one ever released. I want to preface by saying this. We are not going in release order because that'd be way too hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
first off, first off, we have the Avatar The Last Airbender collab. A collab that if this happened a few years ago, I probably would have not purchased. But I think maybe a year or so prior to this collab coming out, I actually fully watched the show and finished it. So when this was released, I fucking cried because I was like, I actually have context. I know who these characters are, and I love these characters so much.
Yeah, and I've
It
I've
has,
loved the show since it came out, so I was
yeah,
really excited to have this. But I didn't get it the first time it came out because that was the period that I had stopped playing. But
yeah,
luckily it came back.
yeah. That's that's one of the things that people were debating on of like, can they come back and if so, when? We kind of really have no schedule for when these things come back because sometimes they'll just come back at complete random and Blizzard just doesn't tell us.
Yep.
um, but first off, let's talk about the skins. For this one, we have like the main five that got legendaries, and then you had an epic skin which you could earn for free by doing challenges. And in this case, the free skin was May as Katara. And I get it. She has like an ice gun. That's like the closest thing we're gonna get because Wu Yang didn't exist at that point. Um,
Although
it
Katara also that's one of her main features is ice anyway, so it works.
yeah, it works in like a retroactive way. But because this is only an epic, there's not much to it. And there is one other epic skin in this collab, but this is the one you could get for free. Everything else you had to pay for. So I kind of like the fact that it's like one of the main faces that like got a skin and got it's more basic in her design, but again, May just has a different silhouette than Katara does. And again, we're not going to change specific features of May to look like Katara. It's supposed I think Blizzard said whenever they do this kind of stuff, it's like the characters are like cosplaying them or like putting them within the materials and the universe for Overwatch, which can be a benefit or a detriment depending on which collab it is. But for this one, I think they did pretty good. Like, again, for this,
At
like,
first
Katara
glance, you can
one,
definitely tell this is Katara.
yeah. She's got the little hair loopies, and for the most part, that's what most people care about. It's like, you got the hair, that's all we care about.
Yeah.
Again, it's basic for the rest of the collab like, the rest of the skins that came with that collab, but I still think it worked. You can tell from a distance this is clearly supposed to be Katara because of that hairstyle. And I think based on personality that we mostly see Katara in the show, I think personality-wise, she fits May pretty well. If we're going to excuse like, oh, she's got ice power, so that's the reason why we gave it to her. But if we
Yeah.
ignore that, I think like 9 times out of 10, May kind of fits Katara's
Here, I
personality.
have a direct quote from Blizzard, or
Mhm.
I guess a Mike Hardison. Overwatch wants to
Yeah.
keep the identity and art style of the characters through the various collabs, something other IPs are not always so concerned with. We want to keep the identity of our heroes in the collabs, so they're just in cosplay,
Yeah. Like I
which I
said,
love.
yeah, we love, although sometimes it doesn't fully work, but I think that's mostly the art style, not necessarily like concept-wise. Because a lot of time we'll see like 2D artwork made for the collabs and they look fantastic. But then when you look at the 3D model, they're like, oh, I mean, it still looks good. It really just depends on like certain angles. But for the most part, the art style between the 3D models and then the 2D artwork are clearly gonna look different.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with that.
Yeah. But I don't
But
know.
other than that, I think this is a really well done skin, being an
Yeah,
epic.
it is. Yeah, being an epic, you could only change so much, but the fact that they kept the core elements and still alluded to Katara in other ways, I think it was good. And
Yes.
again, for this being the only skin in the collab that you could get for free by doing those challenges. And it wasn't just this skin, you could also get some little like tags. Like one of them was the cabbage merchant, which I love. There's also the little weapon charms of each of the tribes, which I love and I like using uh a lot. I just think they're really I just think it's a cute little added detail. I think they also had one where it was just like a cabbage and that was it. Because we gotta
um,
have the My Cabbages guy. He's gotta show up.
there they are. We
Yeah,
got
so you have
the
the Earth
Earth
Kingdom,
Kingdom.
temples, Air
Hold on.
temples, the Earth Kingdom, the Fire Nation, Water tribes, and then the Cabbage. The Cabbage. Yeah.
Cabbage.
My cabbages.
My cabbages. Okay, next up is Kiriko, which she was made into Suki.
There were rumors this skin was originally designed to be a legendary skin, but people got so pissed that that could have potentially been a thing that Blizzard backed out and making an epic skin instead. And if that was the case, if that genuinely was supposed to be what it was, people would have been pissed if this was a legendary. Because this to me does not scream as a legendary. This is just a recolor with a different hairstyle and the makeup. And I like Suki as a character. She's one of my favorite side characters, but like this doesn't give me legendary skin like at
No.
all. And they've done other and like we'll talk about in some of the other ones, but like there's even some other ones that I'm like, really? This is a legendary? How the hell is that a legendary? And this would have been one of those cases where I'm just like, guys, absolutely not. Like, you cannot, don't. Like, but overall, because they made it an epic instead, it gives it like less scrutiny. But yeah, much like May, this is mostly just a recolor with a couple of differences. However, people were mad, and this is going to be a trend of why is Kiriko there?
Yep.
Because I feel like because Sokka is not in this collab, you switch out Sokka for Suki, which you could make an argument that Sokka is more well known than Suki because he's the main, he's one of the main parts of the gang. So I don't know why he's substituted there.
With
Like,
his girlfriend, nonetheless.
yeah, with his eventual love interest by the end of the show. Like, that's just a slap in the face to him. And once again, if you're gonna go ahead and be like, well, they don't have elemental powers or whatever, that clearly didn't stop them. Because Suki technically doesn't have any power. She doesn't have any like earthbending powers. She's just good at hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. Which I guess
So like,
works for a ninja character. Which why they gave it to Kiriko. But I do think Sokka should have been in this. At least they could have had. Maybe, if anything, they could have skipped out on Arisa, Appa, and put Sokka in if they wanted Suki that bad. But he should have been in it regardless.
and before anyone says, well, nobody has a boomerang, that doesn't matter. The gang doesn't have guns, but they still gave it to the characters that have weapons. So clearly that's not really a major issue. We would find out later that sometimes they'll bring back collab skins and they'll add more to it, which we'll talk about later. I feel like if they were to bring this back again, they should add Azula and make it Onron because she literally controls fire. That just makes sense. And then you would add Sokka in it. And probably Wu Yang. And yes, I know Sokka does not have any like water bending powers or any powers in general. You
It's a
can make something
backbender.
work. God damn it. Um, but I don't know. You can make a weird argument with Wu Yang. You can make some like weird like workaround about it. Like
My only issue with that is there would be people that would be pissed that it would be Anran and Wu Yang because they're not
Mhm.
actually siblings in the show. So
Yeah,
the
but
the
on
Avatar
runs.
fans would be upset about that,
Yeah.
but it's also supposed to be cosplay. So
Yeah.
if
Also,
any
on run's
if
the only
anyone
yeah.
on Run would do that.
And also, Onron is the only person in the cast currently that controls fire, so she's obligated to be Azula.
Hmm.
Like, again, it's not a bad skin, but again, people were just like, why is Kiriko here? Why was Suki here and not Sokka? You know, why would you substitute a main character for a side character? And as we pointed out, his love interest nonetheless.
Hmm.
A way it's just a way for her to like sneak in there when she arguably should not have been there.
Yeah, and that'll happen a lot more often than you hope it will.
Yep. You might as well put a counter in how many times Kiriko is going to be put in a collab that she arguably doesn't need to be there for, because there's a lot.
No, no, I'm too lazy to do that. People can put that in the comments.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead and make the count in the comments.
Next up is Mr. Edgelord himself, Zuko, as Genji. I really like this skin. I think it was very well done. It is a legendary, so uh it's more changed than his original skin. But they
Mhm.
also kept his cyborg portions of it in as well, which I really enjoy.
I actually disagree. I don't really like the fact that it's cyborg. I don't like the fucking weird like chin strap thing he's got around his neck and the eye, like his left eye.
Oh, so
That
you
could have
want him
been
to
left.
just dismantle himself because it's supposed to be cosplay?
Again, I think this is just a casualty when it comes to Overwatch's art style of having it more mechanical like that. I think you have to kind of sacrifice that, sadly enough. Um, but if I'm going to ignore that, overall, this skin works out. And once again, you'll also notice Genji is another very popular character to get collab skins. Even though I'd make an argument he's not super popular in the meta, which I find really funny. But I think they did a pretty good job in terms of characterization. I think him and Zuko share a lot of similarities in terms of their journeys, in terms of like getting to be a better person. And I think that
Yeah.
that really fits very well.
I like that they made one of the eyes a cyborg because it's his burnt eye.
Yeah, if you're gonna go by that logic, then yeah, I can look past it. Yeah. And again, they also have like voice lines and stuff like that. So there is a voice line where Genji's voice actor says, "That's rough, buddy." But yet you
Yeah,
don't add Sokka in here. You don't add Sokka in here. Like you could have had
you
some
would
funny
think.
jokes with that. Yeah, you would think that, but no. I don't know. This is one of the more like better of Genji's collab skins because there's some of them in here that I do not think it fits him. Or it's just like you just put this in there because he's got a sword and kind of like nothing else for some of them, but this one I
Yeah.
think fits like personality wise, and I think like they made a good pick for that one. I did not see anybody mad with Genji being Zuko when this came out originally. This was like everyone mutually accepted. Yeah, this is a good pick. This is a good
Hmm.
skin.
I feel like it also works with the dragon because that was
Yeah,
one of the whole
that whole
episodes of learning
third
firebending.
yeah, that whole like little mini arc or whatever, yeah. Which I think
Yeah.
is maybe another reason why they picked him as well.
Hmm. Really well done. Next is Mr. Aang himself.
When I first heard that this collab was happening, this was my immediate thought. Zenyatta has to be Aang. And I was right. And this is probably one of my favorite skins to come from this collab. I am not gonna lie. This is perfect casting. The
Yeah.
fact that you have the tattoo that makes it look like it's part of his metal face. Again, you have like custom sound effects and things like that. They all do. So when you're charging up Zenyatta's balls or like his weapons or whatever, you can hear a chime that's from the game. Same thing when you use its ultimate. This works because you can make the argument that Zenyatta is floating because he's airbending and he just never touches the ground.
Hmm. It's perfect.
Yeah, this is like, I guarantee you when they like, this was probably like the one thing that they're like, guys, if this ever becomes a thing, this is what we need to make. Like this is the definition of we had to make this, but we just got permission to actually do it. This is the
Yeah.
definition of
Someone on the team was definitely making fan art, and they were like, actually, you know what? That's a great idea.
that. He even got a highlight intro as well. He's one of the few that got a highlight intro.
It's literally just from the intro.
Yeah. But I like that
But
they once again incorporated more of the airbending thing with him.
mhm.
Yeah. Again, this is 10 out of 10. This is peak right here. This is
I really
like
like the little rope around him as well that has all the symbols on it.
the little details like that. This is whoever designed this, you need a raise. This is fucking amazing. This is 10 out of 10 right here.
Mm-hmm. Peak.
Next is Venture as Toph. Now, this skin was very anticipated, let's go with, because when Venture was released, they did not get barely any sort of cosmetics, as is tradition basically nowadays, with not just them, but just in general, when it comes to new characters in Overwatch. But Aaron Keller said that they had something special for Venture. And then when this collab came out, or when it was hinted at, I was like, you better make Toph as Venture. Because literally their whole shtick is burying themselves underground. Like that's their whole deal. And
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised that it came out the way that it did. The fact that Momo is there, the fact that you can tell that their eyes are like discolored, so that way you it's because Toph is blind in the show. Again, it's very mechanical because that's just the way Overwatch is. If this was any other thing, it would be fabric, but again, we make do with what we have.
The drill is a Badger mole. This is
The belt,
the belt from the
the
earthbending
wrestling episode
competition.
is
Overall,
again,
great skin.
yeah. They also have a highlight intro.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite from the collab as well.
Yeah, again, people were wanting Venture to get skins, like a legendary skin. They wanted it to be good. Nowadays, Venture has been getting some love with some of their recent skins, which is really good. But yeah, this is desperately what the fans wanted of like, if you're gonna do this, we want you to do this. And luckily, the designers were in the same headspace as we were. Of
Yeah.
like, this is the only candidate, and this is a candidate that works. The fact that they even like included Momo when they didn't have to is another like added touch. Even though Toph doesn't really have much like connection with Momo, but the fact that he's even included in there, I think is a bonus.
Yeah. I think it just makes the most sense though because of the backpack.
Yeah.
So nobody, none of the other characters really have a backpack.
Last
Last
but
but
not
not
least,
least,
Marissa as Appa. I'm not gonna lie, the face looks kind of derpy. I'm not gonna lie, but once again, when I saw this, I was like, that weirdly works. But at the same time, I would have rather just gotten Sokka rather than Appa. As funny as this thing looks.
yeah,
As funny as this thing looks. There is, I will say this, there is an emote that came with the bundle where it's just like Arissa slowly floating like Appa does in the show. It's very funny to look at because it just looks like she's in a daze. It just looks like it looks like she has no thoughts behind those eyes whenever she's doing that emote, and it's very funny. Um, but again, the fact that they put Momo in for Venture's skin, have him like in like Venture's like backpack thing, which is supposed to be used for their drill. Like, if you were going to make the creature like the main like selling point creature of Avatar, you might as well give it to the one that's got more than two legs, even though Appa
yeah.
has like six. That's fine. That's fine. We
It
aren't
works
gonna.
with
We
the
aren't gonna.
arms, I guess.
Yeah, Yeah, if you want to make it work, you can have it be the arms, and that's technically 6. I do like the skin. It's just the face is very again, the face looks so stupid in like a funny way. I can't hate it. It's
It's
like
perfect. I feel okay, now that we've technically gotten through all of them, I feel like Suki and Appa could have been a secondary. Like, if this collab were to come back for like a second wave with different skins, it could have been Arisa Appa, Suki, Kiriko, and then maybe Onron. Like, just saying, just like we're just hypothetically down
yeah,
the line, and then Sokka could have been someone in the original
in the first.
collab.
Yeah. Yeah. Because clearly they're willing to do that. They've done that a couple of times already where they've brought the collab back but with new skins to like fill up or like beef up the roster. Which like yeah, if Sokka was there from day one, you could put Appa, Suki, and later now that Onron's released, you would give it to Azula, and then you could beef that up. There you go.
Yeah.
But now I feel like with this roster we have now, they would probably just do it for Azula and maybe Sokka if they're willing to give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like maybe
Because
the priority, like, because again, this
yeah,
is a good skin, and I'm happy that like this makes sense. But like I feel like there should have been a more like priority of like making like characters that are actually like really prevalent.
just give it to Wu Yang. I don't know what else to say. Because
We're desperate. We want our boy to get featured. You can't make the excuse for that. Avenger doesn't technically earthbend, they just drill in the dirt. And that's it. That's the only qualification they needed. I don't know. I'm happy with what we got, but I feel like with a bit of priority shifting, it maybe would have done something. And again, if they don't have a clear like stand-in, then that's fine. You still could have done something. Clearly, you can still make that work. You could have just done something for Sokka. You could have made like instead of his boomerangs, maybe you could have made somebody's gun look like his like wolf paint that he has in season 1 when he's still like in the South Pole, or
yeah,
not the yeah, like you could have had like that in
you could
other.
make the water balls look like boomerangs.
You could kind of make that work, actually.
Put me on the
Think
team.
about it. He wants to be on the team so bad. But yeah, I am satisfied with what we have. I just wish there was some like priority shifting with it.
Yeah. Next collab we're going to talk about is the Cowboy
The
Bebop
cowboy
collab.
the Cowboy Bebop. Uh, I'm going to be totally honest. I have not fully watched this show. I've watched a handful of episodes, and I have the full season 1 on Blu-ray, so I have no excuse. I will eventually. But that being said, these skins I think are really good, but some people had issues with it. And we're starting with Cass because he had the most issues. I think personality wise, from what I understand, I think he fits Spike really well. Why does he
Yeah,
not have a hat? Why does he not have a hat? And second
because
of all,
Spike
before
doesn't have a
anyone's
hat.
okay, that's true, but why does the hair look like that? It doesn't fit
Because that's
well
Spike's
with.
hair.
I know it is, but it doesn't translate well. That's like a common thing where people are like, that hair doesn't look good. I'm like, look, it's anime, okay? It's 2D as opposed to 3D on a model that clearly was not meant to look like that. If we
Yeah.
ignore the hair, which by the way, if you do emotes that Cass used with his hat, a hat just appears.
Hmm.
So,
It's magical.
mm, that being said, you have more experience with Cowboy Bebop than I do. I can only attest to like how they look and the vague understanding of some of these characters.
Hmm.
But minus the hair, I think Cass like rocks it pretty well. I think personality wise, I think he fits Spike. Not exactly, but he's got enough of it that I think it works.
Spike has enough cockiness that fills in with Cassidy, I feel like.
Also, the fact that the gun looks like the spaceship, 10 out of 10. Good job, guys. Good job with that little Easter egg there. I would say this is not the worst in the collab, but it's definitely, like, on the lower end, I think because everyone complained about the hair. Everybody
Hmm.
I saw online complained about it.
I don't know what you want them to do. That's literally just his hair.
Again, I think this is just a matter of, like, translation and just not fully working with the 3D environment, because the way I pictured it, Spike's hair is more fluffy than it is, like, Spike like that. But again, that's just the 2D art style of the original anime and the manga, as opposed to a 3D model on a guy that is clearly, doing this, like, that it doesn't originally belong to.
Yeah,
And some people were like, I don't know, there were some people that are like, well, using it as cosplay wasn't an excuse. And I'm like, well, that's what they're going with, and we can't really do anything else about it. So
I think it
even if we don't
works.
like it, I think it works just enough for me.
Hmm.
You still get the idea that it's clearly him, but other than some like small translations with that, I think this works out fine.
I really like the detail of the cigarette too, though.
Yeah.
They didn't need to put that in, but I like that they did.
Considering Cass already smokes cigarettes that we already know of, I feel like that's just another added like touch already.
Yeah.
Because every single time, and I find this really funny, every single time Cassidy is used in any like promotional, they have to put it in the rating of using tobacco, which is just really funny to me.
Yeah.
So we already got that covered.
Hmm. Next up is Miss Faye Valentine.
I really like this Ashkin. I don't really know as much about Faye as I do with Spike. Looks wise, I think this is cool. I like the fact that Bob is also once again taking inspiration from the space aspect of the show. I believe he's another spaceship,
He's her
I
ship.
believe.
He is
Her
her
ship,
ship.
yeah. So that's a fun little added thing of that's a really clever way to use Bob, I feel like.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I think the outfit itself looks really good. I think there were some people that were debating if she should go and be Widow, but I think Bob, as an added touch of her being the physical ship that she drives, I think elevates it. So,
Yeah.
like, this makes sense. Because if Cassidy's gun is already referencing his own ship, I think this makes like perfect sense.
Hmm. I think they overall they did a really good job translating everything except the hair. Like obviously a bob I don't think looks great on Ash, but I don't know what else you're gonna do really to tell that it's
Yeah.
Faye.
It's a better translation than Cassidy's is, I would
Hmm.
say.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really hear anybody complain about this skin other than maybe debatably you should have given it to Widow, but I feel like from my understanding, Faye's not like the femme fatale that Widow is. I feel like she's more like more assured of herself, kind of like Ash is. She's more like
Yeah.
rebellious
Yeah.
like that rather than Widow.
Exactly.
So I think that
Personally,
kind of
personally thinking about it, Ash makes more sense based on what I've watched from the show. Overall, Faye
yeah.
is more fun and more outgoing than Widow would be, and it just makes more sense for Ash.
Yeah. And again, like the outfit looks good. The fact that Bob is her spaceship is just another like added touch to it.
He
This is
is.
probably like this was I would say I would make an argument this is a highlight, if not the highlight of the whole collab. I'd make an argument.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Jet as Malga.
From my understanding, Jet is like he's like the mentor figure, right? He's not as like rambunctious and as reckless as Malga actually is. But I think this is a and again, he has a different physique than Malga does, like significantly. But I think this was once again where they're like, well, Malga doesn't have one yet, and the idea of him with chain guns just works with what we do see in the show. So I think this is just a matter of like, let's give it to somebody who doesn't have it yet, and then also I'm not gonna lie, this was the first Malga skin that I'm like, this actually looks good. Because all the other ones were like kind of meh at best.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the concept of it being Malga kind of makes sense because Jet is canonically like really tall. So I feel
Mm,
like for Malga it works even though Malga's like not as tall, but it also fills in with the bigger frame of the character and he's supposed to be imposing, so I feel like it works.
yeah, it's like Cassidy, where it works just enough. And if you wanted to get nitpicky, you could, but I think on a general, if you're hitting like specific beats, then I think this works like just enough.
Mm-hmm. If I were to change it, I would maybe give it to Doomfist, just because
Mm,
he has the one metal arm. But other than that, I feel like maybe the gauntlet would be too out of place for a
mm,
for Jet Skin.
yeah. Again, not bad, but could have been worse.
If I didn't know who Malga was, but I did know what
Mhm.
Cowboy Bebop was, I would be able to tell that that's Jet. Next up is Ed Sombra. Um, not gonna lie, don't remember Ed in the slightest.
To my knowledge, Ed is a little like hacker kind of character, so that automatically kind of gives it leeway for Sombra to like swoop in, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, Apparently Ed's gender differs depending if you're listening to the English dub or the original Japanese sub. I believe in the English dub, I believe Ed is a female. Meanwhile, the Japanese is male, I believe, or maybe it's switched. I don't entirely remember, but one of them is different. That being said, though, I think this skin looks really good, though,
Yeah,
all things considered.
official gender is
Once,
female.
okay,
It's widely accepted with the fandom. So
okay. Not that changing the gender of anything really matters with this kind of thing, but you know,
yeah,
some people make a fuss about it. Um, I think the like again the gauntlets, the fact that the gun I'm pretty sure is another like mini reference. The fact that the hair, yeah, look, she's got a little like the dog in her pocket there.
yeah,
Like again, this is pretty like a good like direct like lifted
yeah.
kind of deal.
It works
Like,
with what I remember of the character.
mm-hmm,
The only thing is, I would maybe have kept the. I know that she wears the goggles around her neck like a lot of the time, but I would have kept it on the head, I think.
mm-hmm,
But that's just me.
yeah,
Also, Ed doesn't wear shoes, so I like how they just gave her kind of like a
like a covering of some
yeah.
kind.
Overall, good skin. I think it's well done.
Yeah.
And finally is the dog,
It's the dog. Kind of have nothing else to say. This is just Hammond as the corgi in the
Ian.
show. Ian, yeah. Like other than the fact that the hamster ball, I believe once again is another reference for the ship. It's a hamster dressed as a dog. I don't know what else you want me to say about it.
Yeah,
This was the free skin, much like with the Avatar collab. This was the skin you could get for free through challenges that were happening during while it was in the shop. And yeah, it honestly works for what we're going with. So
I agree.
next is probably one of the most forgotten about collabs because I do not remember literally anybody talking about this, but it's the GI Joe collab. I don't know anything about GI Joe. I'm gonna be totally 100% honest with you. So we kind of really have like no real knowledge of this franchise. At least I don't. Um, like
All
like
I know
again,
is
this
it's like
probably
military.
it's military and it was a toy franchise from the 80s, and that's about
Yeah.
it. Like, like it probably made a niche part of the fandom really happy. And it probably made some of the designers like really happy because some of them probably did grow up with G.I. Joe. But when was the
Yeah.
most recent thing to come out of this franchise that wasn't like a movie adaptation? Because I think they tried that and it did not go over very well. Like they haven't made a new
Most
thing. Like
most toys that they make into movies don't do really well.
no, the Barbie movie was the only exception, and apparently they're trying to capitalize on that with some other stuff. But I digress. Um,
Yeah. Having not known anything, we're going to look at pictures and compare the skin, which
yeah,
I'd say they did a pretty good job.
I'd say the Freya skin is like the best, one of the best to come from this. I think it works really well. This was one of her earliest skins. It's so far her only collab skin.
Yeah.
I think this fits very well. Again, she already has a crossbow. She's already got red hair. I think this is a almost like perfect translation to
Yeah.
me.
Overall, really well done.
Yeah.
Probably the most memorable, or one of the most memorable of this collab,
Yeah.
besides the Reaper skin.
Maybe even the Genji. No, the only one that no one talks about is the Doomfist skin. Every other one I've seen at least some discussion of. I did not hear anyone talk about the Doomfist skin.
Oop.
Which, speaking of, should we have a look at that Doomfist skin? Since we're on the topic of him. Him as Destro. The only thing I can grasp on this is that he's a villain. He's clearly from like Team Cobra or whatever, which I like the fact that the hood looks like the logo for the bad
Yeah.
guys. I like that. Let's compare in terms of looks of what the toys actually look like. Cuz does he actually look chromatic like that?
Kind of.
Oh, he kind of does actually, yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
I mean, your thing is as good of a guess as me. Like if they're just going on the fact that it's the villain, like this is the only other collab skin that Doomfist has.
Hmm.
And it does look really good on him, but again, we know next to nothing about this man other than the fact that he's just made of like metal or like is chromatic in whatever
I
way.
feel like the outfit works really well.
Yeah.
Like
I,
if I knew more about GI Joe, I feel like I would be able to pick out that this is supposed to be Destro.
this is probably the one that's like least talked about that I've heard.
Hmm. I feel like it would be more talked about because it genuinely, from pictures that we're looking at, I feel like it's
It's
close.
clearly like he's like one of the main bad guys. Like he's from like the main like bad guy group. But I
Yeah.
don't know if he's like the main one or if he's like a sidekick. They don't really.
Maybe since it's such like a niche collab that they did, then most people aren't really talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, this made like the least amount of splash when it was released.
Maybe because it's so simple. Because like
Mm,
it's just form fitting, but at least on the toy, it has more detail.
yeah.
Like that's my only irk, I guess, with it. But moving on, we have
There you go.
Baroness.
Also, from my understanding, she's also again part of like the main villain squad. The only reason why I heard anyone talk about this Widow skin is because it's Widowmaker and she's in black latex, and that's literally it. Like that's literally fucking it. Surprise, surprise. Again, she looks good, but it's simplistic. It's just literally her in a black suit. She's got a different hairstyle and she's got glasses, and that's about it. Once again, there's probably a lot of like Easter eggs that we're just not looking at, but it's just
Yeah, I
like
can see it.
this
I
might be
like that
another
they
like
I like that they kept long hair for Widow because I feel like
yeah,
the the bob that's on the toy wouldn't have worked as well for Widow.
yeah. I think this is like a sex appeal kind of casting, at least for me, from what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Like, I would not have any doubt if this was like some straight man's like awakening. I would not be surprised. I don't know. It's simplistic,
Or
but it's
lesbian.
that is true. I shouldn't discriminate. It could easily be a lesbian. Um, but it is basic in terms of like everything else. But like, you couldn't really do much with her other than just having like the red throughout, and again the cobra symbols with all of like the gun and stuff.
Yeah. Next is Cobra Commander Reaper.
From our understanding, this is the main bad guy. From my understanding, this is the main villain, and yeah, it looks cool. That's all I can really say because I know nothing of this character. You would think that Reaper being the main villain, or at least like portraying the main villain, would get more talked about, but no, not really.
Hmm.
I think they did a good job in terms of translating it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did not hear a whole lot of like splash when it came to it, which is really shocking to me.
Hmm. I don't know. It looks good based on the pictures that we just looked at.
Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe the helmet.
Mm,
Like, because people like Reaper seeing his face and all that jazz.
yeah. And like the different things they do with the mask, but that's what the toy was though. The toy was
Yeah.
just like a complete like blank slate.
Hmm.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I
I'd say it's well executed.
yeah, I would say so as well. Like these aren't bad skins. We just don't know enough knowledge about GI Joe to really like judge them fully and properly.
Yeah.
From my understanding, Snake Eyes, portrayed by Genji here, is like the main hero. He's like the main GI Joe guy. I heard nobody talk about this skin. I'm gonna be for real totally honest, which is hilarious because if this is supposed to be your protagonist and it makes no waves, that says something.
Yeah.
Like someone probably made this fan art. Like somebody really probably wanted Genji to be Snake Eyes, but it just made no impact whatsoever. I heard more people talk about the Reaper skin more than this one, and
Yeah,
that says a lot.
exactly.
And again, it's a good design, but the fact that no one talks about the protagonist, the GI Joe, is crazy to me.
Hmm. Skin wise, I'd say it's pretty close to the toy.
Yeah, it's about as close as we're gonna get. But like I said, it had no like real impact. But then again, this collab didn't really give much of an impact either.
It kind of just sprung up out of nowhere.
Yeah, like most people I heard was like, really? GI Joe? Oh, all right. Like even for some of the more niche ones, like some of the later ones we're gonna talk about, at least had something people could grab to. It's like one skin, and the rest of it you can kind of like make do. You know,
Yeah.
like there's always at least one skin that people are like, oh, I know this character from this thing, and I'm gonna get it. This one, you probably only got it because your main got a skin, or you actually knew something about GI Joe. And even
Hmm.
then, like you actually bought the Reaper skin. Like you physically bought it, but you didn't buy like the rest of them. So,
I just
like,
bought the Reaper skin because it looked cool.
yeah,
But like I said earlier, I don't really know anything about GI Joe, so
yeah. I think again, they're good translations, but we just know nothing about the franchise it comes from. That
yeah.
we again, feel free to inform us in the comments on stuff that we do not know, but this is one of those ones that we're just like, this was a pass for mostly for us. If this came back a second time, I might get the Freya skin, and that might be it. Maybe even the Reaper one if I'm like willing to shell out more. But
Hmm.
next, we move on to Gundam Wing, which is an anime franchise as well as a physical toy line. And I say toy line very loosely, but it's like action figures or whatever. We have 4 skins that came with it. First of them is Ramatra. I think this looks really cool, but I don't know anything about Gundam to like say if this is good characterization. I just think the skin looks cool.
I know vague things, but I'd say it looks good compared to what I do know.
He almost kind of looks like a transformer, but like not really. And yes, I know the Gundams are like big like robots basically. And I'm saying that very loosely. So
It's
already like
it, it's kind of Voltron, but not.
okay. So instead of like 5 people piloting one thing, it's one person piloting a thing. It's like Evangelion, but like not actually.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, we're looking at these pictures. This looks sick as hell. If I had any guess, this is probably one of the villains, especially with Ramatra. This is probably one of the villains. If not, this just looks cool regardless. But again, I don't know enough
he's like a
about.
dragon guy. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of dig it. Yeah,
It would have been cool if they kept the whip thing, but I
yeah,
can see why that would have been difficult.
yeah. I think if you were gonna buy any one of them, Ramatra would be a good contender for it, as opposed to Soldier's skin, Tall Geese. I get it; they're supposed to be robots, like big giant robots flying through space. I did not hear anybody talk about this soldier skin. I think it feels very like tacked on for seemingly like no reason. Almost. It feels almost out of place in a
Yeah.
weird way. Like I hear nobody talk about this one at all. And once again, this is a thing of nobody knew this was Soldier until the actual like models came out and they're like, "Oh, it's supposed to be Soldier." The fact that nobody
Mm.
could tell is not great.
Yeah. Feel
There you
like
go.
it's well executed, but it should have went to someone other than Soldier.
Yeah.
Like another tank, maybe.
It feels like a very last minute decision. I feel like if it was just the other 3 and the other 2 we're gonna show plus the Ramatra one, I think it would have been done a lot better. Like, I see no reason why it was Soldier, and again, I hear nobody talk about it. Next,
Next up is Death Scythe.
Death Scythe Reaper. Once again, it's an edgelord being an edgelord, but this looks really cool. Once again, I think this is another villain. It has to be, or else he wouldn't look this edgy. He did get a highlight intro where the scythe is actually used, and I'm pretty sure there's a victory pose also using the scythe as well. So the scythe is used, it's just to use in other cosmetics. But the skin itself, I think, is really um, still really well done, though. Again, it's very edgy, but that's just within Reaper's brand.
Yeah.
The actual like toys themselves, and then the actual anime, he looks sick as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is I get it because they're robots, but this looks metal as hell.
I like that they made the guns the scythe because
Yeah.
you see how it's like glowing. It like glows green, and then in these also glow green. I like that because the scythe
Yeah.
obviously is not part of his original kit.
Mhm.
So I like that they
Yeah.
put that on as like a little homage to that. Finally is Wing Zero Mercy, which
From
she
my
looks
under
really cool.
Yeah, from my understanding, this is like the main guy. This is like the main hero protagonist. People were not pleased that it went to Mercy because it doesn't feel her to be in this collab. But to my understanding, the original mech has wings. And I think that was Blizzard's only justification for putting her in here because she has wings. Meanwhile, they put wings on the other ones and it worked fine.
The pictures don't fit. Mercy.
Yeah. But you had to put him in there because he's the main guy.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind
I
of
feel
had
like
to.
if anyone, maybe it should have went to Soldier. And then
Yeah. Maybe even Echo. I saw some people floating around that maybe Echo should have gotten it, maybe. The skin looks good, and we're not complaining that, like, oh, a girl got like a male skin. Like that doesn't matter. But once again, people are already fed up with Mercy getting a ton of content when she arguably doesn't need that much.
yeah.
So this felt like you just did this because she has wings and you can like make the highlight intro. But again, you put the wings on some of the other ones and it worked fine. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
some people thought it was just a way for her to get into a collab where she arguably didn't need to. Because as far as I'm aware, she doesn't share a lot of like personality traits with the original character. It's just her. They just put it in there because she has wings, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah. Which
Next collab, and we're gonna combine two of them because this had two waves. We're talking about the Le Seraphim collab, which at the time was the most expensive collab you could get in terms of how much it was, including the second wave. First wave included Kiri, because of course it did. That being said, this outfit is really cute.
yeah.
So I like that her papers are the tickets to the concert. But again, I think this was once again where people were like, okay, can we give it to somebody else? And then wave two happens, and we're like, can we give it to somebody else,
That's
please?
enough slices.
Yeah. Like, you don't need more. You're already so full. Um, that being said, you can't really, because Le Seraphim is an actual K pop group, you have to just like do fashions basically. But I think all of the characters, all of them, including Wave Two, I think do a very good job when it comes to like the different outfits that they use. Cause like, yeah, this is cute. I hate to
Yeah.
admit it, but it is cute. And Wave 2 also introduced recolors because originally when Wave 2 came out, you could not get the original colorways. It wasn't until it appeared for a third time that you can get the original color waves of Wave 1 and the recolors. I like the fact that the recolor is named Blue Flame, which is an actual song they have. Same thing with Anti Fragile. Um, some of the recolors are hit or miss, though, at least for me. Next is Brig with Anti Fragile BB. I do not know why. I guess because Brig, because Kira Kira was the other one. Once again, I think this is probably the weakest out of all of them, but I like the fact that her mace is the light stick. I think that's really funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's cute.
Yeah. Again, probably like the least impressive out of all of them, but it is still really cute, and I'm happy that Brig got something. Her recolor is it's the hair. It's the hair for me. Why is it just blue? You guys could have done like a little bit of something different with that, but it's just kind of like whatever.
yeah.
Sombra's is Anti-Fragile Slay Star. I really like this original skin. I think the colors really work. I like the banner that I'm assuming means something involving Le Seraphim. The light stick is behind there. She's got the little like her phone on the side. Her hair is really cool. The like I think this is just such a good outfit. Like
It
this is
fits
just
Sombra well.
yeah. I would say so, yeah. The recolor, it's not bad. I like the fact that it's not just entirely blue, but I think some of the pinks clash a little bit too much, at least for me. But it's probably one of the better recolors that came from the second wave though. Next is Anti-Fragile Tracy. I don't know. It's more simplistic with the rest of them than the rest of them, but I still think it's really cute. I think the puffer jacket's really cute. They didn't change much for her hair, but I think that's fine. The fact that her visor thing or whatever is sunglasses, I think is really cute. Again, it's more simplistic, but I think it works with Tracer because Tracer doesn't have a lot of like simplistic outfits like this, like more
Mhm.
casual wear. So I think it works in this case.
I feel like the white is a little on the jacket a little too much, but that's just me.
Yeah. Her recolor though. This is where I think the white is too much to me. Like it's too much white, and then the hair is like a weird peachy color, and then the highlights are blue. No, not really. Not really the color choice I would particularly go with, but yeah. Now Diva's very special with Anti-Fragile Dazzle. And I didn't mean to rhyme there. Because Diva was used technically twice. So this is her very first one that came with Wave 1. I like the fact that the mech has the banner that says Le Seraphim. The outfit itself that Diva wears is really cute. The fact that it's all iridescent, but they don't really do much with the mech. It's mostly just Diva's outfit, which we can look individually now thanks to the hero gallery, which is nice. But again, it's just another like simplistic outfit. I think it makes sense for the only, as of right now, Korean hero to be in a K-pop collab. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And also with Diva, that means you could, in theory, run a whole team comp in 5v5 with this. You can run Diva as tank, Sombra and Tracer are the DPS, and then Kiri Brig as your supports. So you
Mhm.
could theoretically run a whole team with this, which I think is really
Love
cool.
that.
Yeah. The recolor, I think this is actually one of the better ones, I think, out of the recolors. Again, not much has changed. It's mostly just a more like lighter blue white kind of color. The fact that they inverted her hair, so instead of pink with brown, it's brown with pink, I think is kind of funny. But yeah, to me, this is one of the better of the recolors, at least.
Yeah.
Moving on though to round two. This is for it's just called Fearless. I think they're all called Fearless. This is more again bluish tone, but I think it works better because it's not just like blue and white. It's a darker blue with a purple. Diva's hair, the fact that it's just blue is a little off-putting, but I think the hairstyle is cute, so it kind of like, it kind of surmises that a little bit. But yeah, like another casual wear. And once again, I do kind of wish they gave it to a different character, but again, it makes sense. She's the only Korean as of recording this. It makes sense to give it to her. Next is Ash. I like the fact that Bob is their security guard. I think that's really funny, and I think that makes sense. The actual outfit itself, I think, is also really cute because Ash also does not have a skin like this. So once again, I do not think she would listen to Le Seraphim like in the slightest, but I think the outfit itself looks really cute.
Yeah.
Next is Juno. I do not know why they keep not making her hair purple, but this was, I think, her second ever collab. I think it's cute. However, she's slowly becoming another Kiriko in terms of how much Blizzard can milk for her. That being said, though, again, this is another cute outfit. She did not have a skin like this previously. I think, like, I still think this is cute. Alari is next. I'm happy that at least somebody else got into this. I like all the piercing she has. The hairstyle is really cute with all the extra added like beads and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know why it's green. I guess it's a color scheme they didn't really use much with the other ones, but I think this is probably the one that people talk about the least, which is really sad because some people thought it wasn't as detailed as some of the other ones. But I don't know. I still like it. It's still got enough personality and enough like branding that it works.
I personally really like the green. I feel like it
Yeah.
fits.
Oh, last but not least is Mercy. Again, it's still really cute. I hate to admit it, but it is really cute. I love the hairstyle, the fact that she's got the pink highlights. She's one of the few that wears a skirt, you know. And again, this like socks or like leg warmers over the boots trend, it's such a thing in Korea. This is definitely like another street fashion, a lot of
Yeah.
inspiration.
I like it.
Yeah. The last one that we purposely failed to mention is that in Wave 1, much like with some of the other collabs, you could get a free skin. and this was the free skin for wave 1, I guess wave 2 to an extent, is Junkrat. He's supposed to be a fan. I don't know. I think it's kind of cute. I think it's very funny, and I think it kind of weirdly fits Junkrat, like
It does.
in a weird way.
It does for him. He'd be a low key listener, though. He wouldn't tell anyone that he listens to them.
Yeah, yeah.
He like sneaks off
Um,
to the concert.
yeah. He'll sneak off, and it's just like, no, no one notices I'm here. What are you talking about?
I really like this skin.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fun.
I do too. This was a nice little surprise because this I don't think was advertised to us. I think we had to figure it out on our own. But I like that it's another little extra added bonus. All right, this was one of the few anime collabs that when it came out, I was actually kind of hyped for. We're now talking about My Hero Academia with Reinhardt as All Might. I think personality wise, I think it works. I wish it went to Ramatra though, because then you could have had the skinny version of him be the regular form and then have the big buff version that's like the hero to the people be his like double version. I think it would have worked way better, but I guess personality wise it fits Reinhardt like way better.
Well, I
But
think at
like
that point, whenever this collab had come out, Ramatra was still evil, so it wouldn't have made that much sense.
maybe. I don't know. I still wish in my dreams it went to Ramatra. Because Reinhardt's another one that constantly gets the collab skins because it's just a big man in a suit of armor with a big hammer. like, um, but again, personality wise, I it works with that. And again, if most people know All Might for the big like buff Hulk version, it makes sense that it went to Ryan. There is still comps that are folding around where there is people that made All Might into Ramatra, and I love it, but I understand why we're going with that. It makes sense that I guess like character motivations wise, it makes sense
Well,
why they
that
picked Ryan.
that and everyone else is in there in their hero form, so I feel like it would be weird to have um just the boring human and then the powered up version, you know?
Yeah.
That's just me though.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
not the
like
most
this skin.
yeah. Yeah. Again, I think this is just Reinhardt's proportions, but the head looks like it doesn't fit on the body, but I think that's literally just the way that they did his shoulder pads. I don't think that's necessarily like part of the skin.
Yeah. I think it's the collar as well.
Next is Reaper as Shigaraki, who's the main villain for a good chunk of the series. I only watched through season 1 and like a couple episodes of season 2, but I do know who Shiggy is. And I think this turned out really well, but I feel like the only reason why they gave it to Reaper is because Reaper's really edgy. Like,
I
I feel
mean,
like,
it kind of worked though, besides the fact of him being edgy.
yeah, yeah. I do like all the hands because that's a part of Shigaraki's like villain outfit or whatever when he's like out doing villainy. I do like the fact
Yeah.
that the mask is the hand. I like that Reaper's mask that's typically used is a hand. And the fact
Yeah.
that all the hands are Omnic hands, I think is another like added touch. Because I'm pretty sure in the anime it's like actual human hands. So I like the fact that they kind of toned it down a little bit of like, no, they're just Omnics. Like it's not real hands, it's still T for teen. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I
I
like
mean,
it.
there's not really yeah, there's not much you could really do with Shiggy because it's just a guy. It's just a guy, and that's like kind of it. So the fact that they worked with what they could, I think it turned out pretty well.
Hmm.
Oh, Tracer as Deku. This is the one that I think people complained about the most. And it's mostly because A, they gender bent Deku to fit Tracer, and number two, the hair doesn't look right. I think the hair looks decent. I don't think it's like the end all be all. And who fucking cares if it's the gender band? Who cares?
It's
Because
supposed to be
Deku doesn't,
cosplay.
and also, yeah, and also Deku doesn't have like the greatest like comparison because nobody really punches. The only one that really punches is like Doomfist kind of, and then Ramatra kind of, and we already established that Ramatra would not work. So this is like the closest we could work with. And overall, I think it's still a good translation to his hero outfit. So
Yeah,
I kind of wish the shoes were more akin to his actual shoes, but other than that's just a nitpick for me. Other than that, I think this translates pretty decently well.
I
So
agree.
next is Juno as Uravity. This was Juno's first ever collab, and this was shortly after her release, which a lot of people did not like. It felt too coincidental, and I would not blame you for thinking that. I would 100% believe that while they were in the process of making Juno, they secured this collab with My Hero, and they're like, well, why not? Like, I don't think Juno was made for this collab. I don't think they solely made this character because this collab was happening. I don't think that's the case. I think it's like happenstance, but the fact that it happened so close together of her release and this collab coming out, people were already pissed. Design wise and personality wise, I think this fits Uraraka extremely well. She's very
Absolutely.
kind-hearted, she's very soft-spoken, and again, the fact that she fucking floats when her quirk is the fact that she can control gravity.
Yeah,
I think this fits say what you will about the coincidence of the release, I think this fits her character extremely well, like, all
yeah.
things considered.
If we ignore the fact that it might have been just for a cash grab, which it obviously was, it fits the character immensely well.
Oh my god. She doesn't need to be here. Lastly is Kiriko as Himiko Toga. This I do not understand why they did this. Kiriko does not fit Toga's personality in any way, shape, or form. I feel
No.
like the only reason why they put her in here is because you could easily make it look good, and also you can make her kunais look like the needles that she uses, and that's it. I thought the whole reason why of the cosplay was that because it would fit personality wise. This doesn't fit her at all whatsoever, and I think this was a way to shoehorn her in when I feel like she wasn't necessary. Toga is like she is part of the main hero like villain league that Shigaraki is in, but she's a henchman in all like lamest terms. Like yeah, she gets a lot of like big major arcs, but that's not till later in the show. This came out when the show was still airing. So she didn't really have that character development yet, or at least it was like very like bare beginnings of, to my understanding. This to me is just a way for her to get in this collab when you could given this to arguably anybody else. Like
Yeah.
I wanted Bakugo as Junkrat so badly. And if they ever do a wave 2, I want that in the game so badly. Like again, I hate the fact, but again, the skin looks good and it's incorporated well. But again, I feel like Toga doesn't fit in this collab at all. You could have given it to a different villain, or hell, you could have given it to one of the other students. Like, I do not think she was necessary in this collab in the slightest.
Oh, I feel like she's such an iconic character, though, is why they
She
put her in ultimately.
Yeah. But again, people are debating why it was Kiriko. But again, it's probably because the kunais can be made into the syringes that Toga uses. And that's like the only thing. But once again, this is a really popular anime. I don't think Kiriko was necessarily needed for this thing to sell. I think you could have very easily just done it regularly and I think this thing would have sold. Like,
I agree.
yeah. Either way, next is the Nerf collab, and you're probably wondering, how could you possibly make that work? Weapon skins. It is mostly weapon skins, as well as one extra one from Cassidy, which I I think the skin is so funny, but I really like it. It looks like a father playing with their children in, like, super intense.
I
Like,
love
this
it.
he looks something straight out of the '90s, even bordered down to the dad shoes. This is it's so stupid, but I love it, and I don't care.
It's literally perfect. We also have this for some reason.
We have the highlight intro looking straight out of a '90s commercial.
I like the colors on it.
It's very neon, it's very '90s, but I think it works for this. Cassidy was the only, like, hero skin we got, everything else was weapon skins. In a different episode, I've talked about my stance when it comes to the weapon skins. That being said, though, I think the concept alone is really funny, of just Genji having a sword that is not actually a sword, it's a bat. And whenever you hit somebody, it has a bonk sound effect. I think that in and of itself is just really funny.
It's great, honestly. Although I don't
And
think it
as a
happens outside of. I think it's only
no,
you that can hear it, unfortunately.
yeah,
But other than
yeah.
that, I think it's perfect.
The only like and for anyone saying of like, why is it specifically these heroes? You can physically buy these. Not only did Overwatch had actual Nerf guns that you could purchase of like actual weapons in the game, but these are also actual Nerf toys that you can purchase right now. Not sponsored, but like you could genuinely go to, to like Amazon or something or like Walmart or whatever, you could probably find these. Like these are actual things you can actually buy. Which the next is Hanzo's. Again, it's just him with a Nerf bow that I did not know existed. I like the fact that Genji's at least looks like it belongs to him. This one kind of doesn't. I wonder if they could like change the coloring of it because if they did, I feel like they would have did it to more of Hanzo's color scheme.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they could have changed the colors. But again, it's the novelty of I have a Nerf gun in Overwatch where clearly it's just like not that it's just there, but it's like
It's just so funny.
yeah. Soldier's gun, once again, actual Nerf gun you can really purchase, so I don't think there's much we can really talk about other than just the concept of a stoic character like Soldier holding a Nerf gun and taking it seriously.
It's just the dad thing again. He's there because his kids want to play with him.
Yeah. This I'm gonna be totally serious. This was the only one I ever heard anyone talk about. Not only was this the only skin you could get for free with the challenges when the collab was happening, but the little pea shooter bullets look like
Beans.
baked beans. They look like beans, which considering Tracer is British, just enhanced the joke even more.
Yes. Beans on toast.
Okay, next was Maze. I like the fact that it's a super soaker. I think that's really funny that it's a super soaker. Obviously,
Hmm.
they had to like shorten it a little bit because an actual super soaker is really long. Like the barrel itself is really long, but I like that it's got a little snowball sticker on the actual
Yeah,
orb.
it's cute.
Yeah. Nothing else to really write home about. It's just a super soaker, but smaller. Last but not least is Bap. I like the fact that he was at least included in this. And honestly, I really like the galaxy design on it.
Arguably
It
the
makes
best
like
one.
yeah, it makes it stand out a lot.
Yeah.
On to the next collab, which was the first ever collab that Overwatch ever did with One Punch Man. And once again, I think somebody made this as like a design, and then Blizzard was like, you know what? I can make that work actually. And then they called up the guys and they're like, can we make this happen? Because this is the skin. Like the whole gimmick is that Saitama can just punch anybody and kill somebody with one punch. And
Yep.
who is the guy mostly known for punching is Doomfist. I think personality wise they don't really fit, but I think everyone's thought about this and the fact that Blizzard made it happen I think is like it kind of negates all of the potential. Like he doesn't fit person. Who cares? Who cares? This is what you get the collab for, if anything else.
Yeah.
Like this is the only skin from the collab that I bought when it had wave 2, which we'll get to in a second. But this was the only skin that I bought because this was the only one that I actually cared about because I've never watched the anime. But I know who One Punch Man is, and I know who Saitama is. So this was to me this was worth it, even if I just bought like the one.
This is peak.
Next is Genji as Genos. I've heard some people complain about it. Like, to my understanding, Genos also has like robotic parts. So that's not what people were complaining about. It's the way of translation didn't really work with some people. But I don't know enough about his character to really like tell you why people were saying that.
I hate this skin. It's kind of creepy.
It's definitely the eyes. The eyes don't help it either. But that's the way his eyes are in the anime though. So
Hmm.
they kind of can't change it.
Yeah. But I feel like, I don't know, just the frame, the metal frame as well.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, not my favorite.
No, but I would make an argument that you could give an excuse for it because it was their first ever outing. The first
Yeah.
time they ever did collab skins. So maybe they like learned from this and were like, okay, let's figure out what we did wrong and then kind of work our way through it. Next is Soldier. This was a free skin you can get with challenges. Again, I do not know anything about this character, so I cannot tell you in terms of how this fits him or how this looks.
He just rides a
It
bike.
looked it well, yeah. Well, that's some of the cosmetics is him riding the bike. Um, Other than that, it kind of just looks like generic, which I guess this is probably just what the character looks like, but there's nothing much to it. If you would have told me this is from One Punch Man, I would not believe you. Like,
I
and there's not much to this character that I'm like, he must be important enough to include in the collab, but
think he's on, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's like affiliated with Saitama.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I'm pretty sure most of these characters in like Wave 1 are associated with someone because I think Genos is like his rival or something. So,
Yeah.
once again, people were already boiling up the fact that Kiriko got everything when she arguably did not deserve it. And now you have what could arguably be an epic skin. This is just a different hair and the recolor of her basic skin with like different shoes and like barely any leggings. This to me does not qualify. I know that's what the dress looks like, or like that's basically what the dress looks like on Terrible Tornado. But like if you can make Genji have a different outfit, you can just do that for Kiri. Why just recolor her base skin and remove some assets? You could have done more with this,
Yeah.
but they just like didn't. Like
This should have been an epic skin.
this should have been an epic skin. And once again, it would have lessened the blow of Kiriko being in the first collab. This would have like lessened the effect if it was an epic, but it's not.
Yeah.
Round 2 was it had two skins for the redo, which the first one is Garo. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. From my understanding, he's probably a villain or at the very least like an antagonist.
He
This skin
is.
is bad. This is bad. This is a bad skin. I understand from my knowledge he has a lot of bandages and that makes sense. I don't think this was translated well into Wu Yang at all in the slightest. Like once again, this to me doesn't scream One Punch Man, but it also doesn't look like Wu Yang either. And it's just I
I
felt like
think
they
it's the
could have went
hair.
it's the hair. Yeah. It's uh, I get it. A lot of the character designs in One Punch Man are pretty simplistic, but I feel like you could have done more with that. Like you could have
Yeah.
done more with this. Lastly is Ash as Hellish Blizzard. She's just in a dress with a bob. To me, this like I know that's what she looks like, but like Bob barely has any changes like whatsoever. Like, again, I don't know enough about this character, but to me, this just looks way too simplistic to me.
Hmm. I agree.
I also don't know why they picked Ash specifically, and they couldn't have just picked literally any other hero. For people who've watched the anime or read the manga, feel free to correct us and tell us, but this invokes nothing to me.
I think it's solely just for the highlight intro.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Can't wait for me to rant.
You mean like you've been doing the whole time?
All right. This is the one I have the most stakes in out of the two of us. So I'll be able to talk more about this. But this is essentially the Persona 5 collab, but because Persona 5 is rated M, they couldn't call it that, so they called it the Phantom Thieves instead. Um, I've actually played Persona 5, and I love it. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I've spent over 80 hours in the OG and have like some of the other spin-offs and Royal. I have credentials. I don't want anyone talking in the comments about it. So when I heard
He
this was
doesn't
coming
shut up
out,
about it.
it affected a lot in my high school years. So I have reason for it. But when I heard this collab was coming out, I was very hyped. I was very intrigued, but at the same time I was very cautious because some of these characters don't have exact one-to-ones. And Joker for Wu Yang is one of those one-to-ones that you have the best option, but like out of options of what? Joker is supposed to be the player's insert. That's your player insert essentially. He does have a couple of things and interactions where he's able to like have a bit of a sassier personality, but it's mostly you are the main character essentially. So he doesn't have much of a personality that can really flow through or like really like flesh out. Um that being said though, again, this is kind of like the best option you have because yeah, like Joker has a gun. Like all the characters have like some sort of like melee weapon and have like a firearm of some kind. But Joker doesn't really have a one-to-one in this game, so this is kind of like the best you can work with. And also, I think this was Wu Yang's second ever collab if you count One Punch Man as well. So once again, people were getting like, really? You could have given this to like anybody else. That being said, looks wise, yeah, this is just Joker. This is his Phantom Thief outfit. This is like other than a couple of like maybe some like what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like there's some like small nitpicks, but they're not big enough for me to really complain about. They do come with highlight intros that look like they're all-out attacks, which is essentially like a component in combat that we will not show you because I'm pretty sure that has copyrighted music and we can't play that. But it's
Plus,
basically an exact
also
rep.
probably
Mhm.
also because it's the same, like it's similar. It would be copyrighted, I would think.
Yeah, it is very close to the original. You can look up the originals on YouTube, and it's basically the same thing, but with a different 3D model. It's essentially the same thing. Um, but I've grown to like it over the months that it's been out. I still don't think it's my favorite, but I think this is like the best out of the options we had, I think. You
Yeah.
have like you have different voice lines in correlation with the game. You have little VFX and different voice lines when using your abilities and things like that, which is a nice touch. But they also do that with every collab that's associated with a specific franchise, so that's not really specific to them.
Based on what Luna has told me about the game, I feel like this is the best skin.
Yeah. This is instantly recognizable. If you were going to get any of the skins from Persona and you know nothing about Persona, this would be the skin. Because this is the main face of Persona 5. This is the player character. So, given the limited information you have on that character, this is probably the best option. I'm not saying it's the greatest option. I wish there was a different one they picked, but honestly, like I said, there's not a one-to-one you can really work with. So, Joker is more of a slender figure. He's on the lankier side, so there's not really another character that kind of fit it. So, I give it a pass. This is like baseline to me.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
it still looks good. It still reads as Joker. It doesn't read as Wu Yang other than the staff. But again, that's just a casualty because this is Overwatch. So I'm not really gonna be too mad at it, you know.
And
Anywho.
now it's time for Luna's absolute favorite skin in this collab.
Ah. Next we have Panther as Mercy, or Mercy as Panther. I have thoughts on this skin. Obviously, you couldn't get everybody in the Phantom Thieves because it's like 8 different characters, maybe 9 if you're stretching it with some of them, and even then. I I personally, once again, Persona 5 is the biggest the Persona series has ever gotten. It is the most successful out of all of the ones that have been like available in the West in terms of like new additions to the franchise, right? And it's got multiple different spin-offs, but so do 3 and 4 mainly because those are the main popular ones that Atlas actually cares about. I and I do like Mercy. I know we've shit talked her like quite a bit in this episode and in previous ones we've talked about with Overwatch. I do still like Mercy. I personally think the only reason why they gave this skin to her is because she's blonde and can put it in pigtails, and that's literally it. I do not think she really fits On's personality all that well because On is very sweet. Yeah, she is a model and she knows she's pretty, but I feel like it's in the same vein of she's actually very sweet. She's very kind. She even when we even when we go past the arc of what happens with her friend, she still mentions her. She still goes to see her. They still keep in touch. Anna's a very sweet character, and she doesn't let the fact that people sexualize her be her main defining characteristic trait. And I think that's very admirable. But once again, it's like if personas are basically JoJo stands in the sense of they're your truest form of yourself, essentially, minus the player character because gameplay purposes. But when your persona in the way that you're perceived of your rebellious side is literally a dominatrix, then it's like, guys, I thought the whole point of the arc was that she wasn't letting that be her sole characteristic. She has a lot of fun moments, and again, she can be quippy and she can be very sassy, but she doesn't let it get to her. I just feel and mind you, I want to point this out. Every character in this collab that they use, they're all teenagers. I want to preface by saying this. They're all like in high school. I think some of them are like 1 year older than some of the others, but for the most part, they're all roughly the same age and they're all in high school. So no, I'm not mad of Mercy is a grown woman. She can wear whatever she wants because she's pixels. Okay, she's just pixels. Um, but I again, I feel like there could have been other options to maybe work with that. But once again, this is another thing where I think they put Mercy in here because they knew Mercy mains would buy it instead of actual Persona fans that got it because they liked the game that the collab came from. I feel like half the time whenever I see this skin, half the time I'm just like, do you know I feel very gatekeepy about that, but this game was nominated for Game of the Year in 2017, and it's been like the most popular Persona has ever been in the West because of this installment. Overall, in terms of translation of the skin, though, in terms of what the actual outfit looks like, in terms of it is accurate. This is really what her skin or what her outfit looks like when she's doing combat. Like I'm not gonna it is very accurate. But again, I feel like this is I wish there was like more thought put into it in terms of who would do that. And if you're gonna say I know I said like they put her in for blonde and pigtails. You could have made any of the other female characters blonde with pigtails. We've already seen that they're fine with changing the hair color and the hairstyle for these collabs. So what's stopping you from putting Brig with that hairstyle? I like the skin, but I feel like the fact that it went to Mercy, and I knew once I saw it was gonna be Mercy, that Mercy mains were gonna buy it regardless whether they knew this was from it or like from the game or not. It's almost a similar I don't know. I feel like it's a similar vein with like the Gundam collab where you could have arguably given it to somebody else, but you chose to give it to Mercy. Like there could have been other viable like personality options, but again, in terms of translation, I'm not going to deny that the translation is very good. Like it is like this minus the wings obviously and the staff, but the actual outfit she's wearing is very accurate. So I can't even knock points for that. The only like minor nitpick is that On's melee weapon is a whip. So that's why I suggested Brig, but they would never give it to Brig. God, they would never give it to Brig, and I know they never would. Because it doesn't fit the silhouette or whatever. But as much as I have grievances, I think translation wise, in terms of like directly what's in the game, like outfit wise to Overwatch, it translates very well. And again, there's a lot of details and things like in her gun and in her weapon that are reminiscent of what's in the game. So I can't even like fault for it. It's still a well translated skin, it's a well made skin. It's just in a perfect world, it would go to somebody else. But once again, I don't think there's a perfect one to one that I think works with the current hero roster. And the ones that I maybe could argue and say that it would fit, Blizzard would never do because it's one thing or the other. So I'm like tepid satisfied. I'm like, on some days I like it and some days I don't because I get too heated about it. And I'm sorry this took way too long about.
I have nothing to say about this skin. I don't like it.
From a design perspective, as much as I've said about like why character wise, design wise, why do you not like the skin in terms of how it was translated? Because I'm actually kind of curious.
It's just a Gooner skin for Mercy players.
Yeah. Okay, before I go on this rant again, what do you like about the skin? Before I say anything else, in terms of like the minimal knowledge I've given you on why the skin works and doesn't work. Just so that way you have a chance to speak, so I'm not just like taking up all the time.
I like this skin because it's, I don't know, I just feel like the vibe of the skin fits Lifeweaver.
Hmm.
I don't know about the mask though. Everything else I think is fine. I know the mask is probably part of the persona, but
Yep, it is. Yeah, it's part of the outfit, so you can't change it. But I do understand that it doesn't fit his face structure. I think that maybe
because
if they could have like,
he's a pretty boy, he's supposed to show his face at all times.
well, so is Yusuke. Yusuke's also a pretty boy, but they still cover with a mask anyways. I agree. I do like the skin, and I think form fitting wise, it fits Lifeweaver's body very well.
Yeah,
However, the thing with Fox is that in Persona, he's played by Matt Mercer, who we love. But the reason why this is significant because his Yusuke's entire identity is the fact that he's an artist and he does Japanese art. Like he specifically does traditional Japanese art. That's like his style that he uses, right? Fit wise, this works well. In terms of identity, this does not work. And what's even worse is that his main melee weapon is a katana. But no, you just give it to this. Again, the mask and the tail and everything else, minus the claw hand, because that has to be like Wifeweaver's weapon, it's all accurate. It's just the petals on the back, you could have once again done something with that, but no, it's just blue with the fox faces, and that's like kind of it. I feel like you could have done more with that. But again, Yusuke's entire identity is the fact that he does Japanese art and the fact that he's Japanese. That's like his whole he's the starving artist archetype in like more literal ways than one. So that he if he dedicates his entire time to that, then I again, this could have gone to somebody else who also happens to be in this collab, which we might as well get to next. Because oh boy, I'm gonna say this right now. I do like Yusuke and I like Ryuji, which is who Skull is. That's the real name. And I do like these characters very, very much. And I'm very happy Genji's in this collab because I think he fits it very well. I do not think for a goddamn second he should have been Skull. I think he should have been Fox 1,000%. Because what do you mean you have a Japanese hero literally in your game and his main thing is his again, Genji's whole thing is that he's a cyborg ninja with swords, right? Yeah, he's got the shurikens, but the main thing is the sword. And
Yeah.
Yusuke's entire kit, his melee weapon is a fucking katana. And yet you don't give it to the guy who actually has a katana and who's actually Japanese? Are you kidding me? This pisses me off so much. And I love Ryuji. Ryuji is best boy. But like this and again, looks wise, again, this is accurate. The hair, I think it's just because of the 3D modeling, but the outfit again is very accurate. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, if Yusuke's weapon in game is a katana, what's Ryuji's? Depending on, because you can upgrade your weapons, obviously. The first one, I believe, is a metal pipe. I believe is the first one, or it's like a baseball bat, or some variation of that. And they do have that as Genji's like ult, which I appreciate. And yes, you do hear the sound effects whenever you like hit somebody, which is very funny and very fitting. But once again, you literally have a Japanese hero and you had a katana. Why couldn't you just do that? I feel like Genji could have fit Fox significantly better. And then as for Ryuji, he's Joker's like best friend. And I do mean that of like, you know, he's the first party member that you get in the game. Like you bond with him very quickly. He's a rebellious type. He deliberately dyes his hair blonde, even though he's technically not allowed to. He's a former athlete that got injured and then was subsequently kicked off of his sports team because he got injured. I don't think Ryuji doesn't have like a one-to-one in this game cuz he's very reckless but he's very loyal to the Phantom Thieves and to everybody. And
Mhm.
he I wouldn't say it's like a sob tragic backstory, but like again, because he has bad memories with the sports team he was on, I believe he was on the track team actually. So his leg got injured. And then there was a whole blowout fight about it to which either he quit or he got kicked off, one or the other. And he still has sustaining injuries from that. Like I don't think it ever fully healed properly. So Ryuji's definitely like the rule sucks kind of character. He's punk, but not to the full extent of an actual like punk. He's like the minimal breaking the rules. He's the kind of guy that wouldn't wear a tie fully or no tie at all in like a setting like that, if that kind of makes sense. Again, he deliberately dyes his hair blonde when he's not a natural blonde and it's technically against school rules, but they're not really forcing him to change it back. Not really. So there's not really like a good one to one for him. I thought the best way to do it was Junkrat as Skull because not only could you incorporate the leg because he already has a limb, but you could also make the leg look like the metal pipe or one of the bats or something like that. You could make the leg look like something that correlates to that. Or because his whole persona is Captain Kidd, a pirate, boom, there you go. Make it a peg leg, which it kind of already is, I guess, for Junkrat.
Mm.
But like I said, Genji doesn't or fuck, Ryuji doesn't really have a perfect one-to-one in this game in terms of personality. But like Ryuji's whole thing is his like main elemental power or whatever is lightning.
Green.
Like I don't know, you could have done something with like Junkrat's ammo for that maybe. You could have done something with that. I kind of wish maybe they did something more with the elemental stuff because Joker doesn't really have that because he's the wild card, right? He's the main player. He's the main character, so he can do whatever. Panther's main thing is fire, and then Yusuke's is ice. That's like his main thing. Ryuji's is lightning. I just feel like it's such a missed opportunity to have him as Yusuke. It's such a missed opportunity. And again, I like the Wife Weaver skin. I really do. I just think it better fit Genji. And then Genji's just kind of like I feel like he's just there. He's in the wrong costume. It's like it's like that scene in Mean Girls where Katie Heron walks in with like the zombie bride, but everyone's dressing super sexy. That's what this reminds me of. Like it's clearly out of place to me, but in terms of translation, it's accurate. Like it's very accurate. The mask is the same way, the hair is the same way. I think the collar is a little bit too like puffed out and tall, but that's a nitpick. But in terms of actual like taking his outfit from the game and putting it in here is accurate. What are your thoughts on the actual like presentation of the skin though?
I think it looks accurate to actual in game. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's got going for it.
Yeah.
uh Other than that, based on like how you've described Fox, I do feel like it would make more sense for Genji, but also I feel
Mhm.
like it's kind of also good for Lifeweaver because he's not Lifeweaver's not crazy, I guess.
Yeah,
Which
I'm not. Yeah, that's like the one thing to give it to Lifeweavers because Yusuke, despite being a starving artist, he's very graceful with his movements. It's almost as if he was like an ice skater in an alternate universe if he's not doing like art, which I guess is pretty accurate because in the opening cutscene or whatever, when you launch the game and it's got the little like intro music or whatever to go into the main sequence, everyone's like ice skating and they have their own different styles, and Yusuke is very graceful with it. He's
yeah.
very like steady and all that. So
Mhm.
I from that aspect I can understand for Lifeweaver to get it. And this was, I believe, his first ever collab skin, I believe. But I still think it should have like went to Genji just based off of it has more going for it if it went for Genji rather than Lifeweaver. But I'm also not mad at the Lifeweaver skin either. I
Yeah.
just wish it went to somebody else. But the way that it came out, I'm still pretty pleased with it. All things.
It's accurate and I think that's all that should matter. And now time for the worst skin in this collab.
Explain to me why you think this is the worst one.
Because you said it's a bike, but it's a mech or something like that, right?
Okay, yeah. So Queen, aka Makoto, in Persona, she's basically the second in command in terms of leadership. She's the one. She's like in the game at school. She's the like head of the student council. So she's very by the rules and very like her sister is a lawyer. Her sister is a goddamn
Ooh.
lawyer. So like she's very by the rules, by the book, so it makes a lot of sense for her to like let loose and have something more rebellious for like her inner for like basically her JoJo stand essentially.
Yeah.
And again, this diva skin and the way that it's portrayed is accurate even down to the gun. The gun, I think it's like again I don't think it's like an exact pistol, I think that Makoto uses, but in terms of the way that it looks, it's accurate. They even have a little brass knuckle as the charm, which is Makoto's melee weapon is brass knuckles. So I like that little detail there. And again, the
Yes.
mask is accurate. All of this is accurate. The mask is there. The hair is accurate. I think they even changed her eye color because I think her eye color is red in the game. So the fact that they even went to changing that is an extra added detail. The mech itself is where I am tumultuous with, especially with why they picked Diva to be in this game or like to be in this collab. Because the mech is Makoto's persona. Every other persona or JoJo-san or whatever up to this point has been a character from like history or some like historical thing. Like it's got ties to the character as to why that would represent them, right? Makoto's is a fucking motorcycle. At least the original, you can upgrade it if you get to like a high level of friendship with her. Same thing with all of your teammates. But when she first gets added to your party, it's a motorcycle. And she can ride it like a regular ass motorcycle. And when you use it in combat and you use an ability with Johanna, which is the name of the persona, it's just her spinning in a circle as if she's doing like a donut, and then the effects will then happen on the enemy.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Um, which now that I'm thinking of it, in hindsight, this could have maybe gone to Shion, the newest DPS as of season 3 of 2026. Because you can make the pistols look like that. The bike is already there. Like, I could maybe make that argument. But I think the only reason why they made Diva Makoto is because the fact that you can make the mech look like the bike, which I will admit is a cool detail and a great way to add to it. But there's literally a gamer in the group. There's literally a gamer in the group, and she's the navigator. And guess what? Her persona is a UFO. You could have done something with the mech to make it look like a UFO. Like,
It would have fit a lot better than the motorcycle.
yeah, it would have. Um, Again, I just don't think personality wise she really fits Makoto. Diva is more, again, like laid back, kind of chill. She's more of like kind of go with the flow, but Makoto's more strict with rules. That's what I wanted. Because if they have the ability to give us second waves of these skins, then maybe you could have put Diva as Futaba, which is that gamer girl that I talked about, and make the mech look like her. I believe the persona is Necronomicon, which is just the UFO. And they didn't even use all of the members of the party either. There's a few others that they didn't use. They didn't end up using Mona slash Morgana, which is the cat thing. I say cat
Jetpack
thing.
cat.
Make it the jetpack cat. Literally make her a tuxedo cat. Have the mech kind of look like Zoro, which is Morgana's persona. Especially because Mona's elemental power is wind. You can work with that. You can, I don't know, you can work something with that. Next is Haru, which is actually Juno's voice actress. So my immediate thought would be going to Juno because haha, that'd be very funny. But Juno does fit personality wise in terms of Haru. She's very soft spoken, she's very meek. She like has a rooftop garden. But the only downside if Haru went to Juno is that Juno's main like physical weapon is an axe that she can almost barely lift, by the way, which is really funny. And then her main like gun is a shotgun. So like unless you can make the blaster look like that, then like maybe. I don't know. I feel like again, some of these characters just aren't fully one to one. And I can get past that. I can get past that, but when some of them are clearly better suited for others, why not just take that opportunity? Again, Persona is already such a big series because of 5, and 5 is the most recognizable and as of right now is the most profitable one because Alice won't shut up about it until Persona 6 when that eventually comes out in like the semi near future as of recording this. Like I don't think they needed some of these characters as these roles to make this collab sell. I don't know. I feel like I'm being nitpicky for the sake of nitpicky, but this is like my favorite game of the past decade. I feel like I should have the at least not being like gatekeepy, but just being like doing your own research and kind of making your own thoughts on it, I guess. But But in terms of just not even talking about the characters and just talking about how they translate into Overwatch, they're all pretty accurate in terms of how, other than again a couple of nitpicks in terms of like certain like armor isn't there, but that's just the way that Overwatch does its art style. So I'm not gonna even even touch upon it. But in terms of actual translation, if you look at the games to the Overwatch, it's pretty night and day. And they added way more stuff with the extra things. The highlight intros, they're all basically ripped straight from the game. All of the voice lines are ripped straight from the game. The fact that Mona's even there, even as a little weapon charm, as like a little icon, and as like a banner. The fact that he's even there, even if as a little charm. Overall, the package entirely works for me. It's just I wish some of the characters didn't get those skins, but at the same time, with maybe a hand with other than Diva and Genji, I don't think there was much other options for the other ones to really go to because there's not like one-to-ones that are in the roster currently. But yeah, that's my rant and my hot takes on this. Feel free to argue with me in the comments. Fight me, Mercy Mains. I dare you.
The discussions will continue in episode 5.5. The real reason for this is because we actually yapped for way too long and the episode was originally going to be over 5 hours long. So we cut it into 2. See you there.
Yeah. But with that being said, that is the end of our show. So feel free to follow us on social media. Feel free to, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz.